All right, let's dive in here to day
Greetings from
8.
Rescue Shuttle Control.
Oh, and for those of you watching on Twitter or on YouTube, or if you're new, this is a learn to program, learn wiring kit that I got that is in the form of a game where you are lost in space and you have to fix your spaceship. This man, oh wait, I've only muted it. I did not mean to do that. This man is my AI.
Greetings from Rescue Shuttle Control. We're very pleased to see the tremendous progress you're making in working on your battery and power charging systems. You've been doing a great job of both collecting data and controlling circuits using the logic in your Hero board. Today we're going to continue with that. You'll recall that in our last session we concentrated quite a bit on sending information through the serial monitor. And today we'll shift gears a little bit and return to the subject of communicating information through the light emitting diodes, the LEDs. We have a little twist in that today, and I'll begin today's session by introducing you to a new component. It's a little bit familiar. It looks pretty much like one of the LEDs that we've used before. It's right here. I've got one of them that's plugged into the
realized I could show you guys my Arduino.
I have another one right here.
Setup.
But you'll notice
sorry, what are you saying, Guy?
A little bit familiar. It looks pretty much like one of the LEDs that we've used before. It's right here. I've got one of them that's plugged into the breadboard, and I have another one right here. But you'll notice it's a little bit different because it has not two but four different leads coming out of it. And the reason for this
it's color changing time.
Three-color LED, or also known as an RGB LED. R, G, and B standing for the three colors, red, green, and blue. By simultaneously turning the red, green, and blue components on, one can create custom colors.
I've put this over the chat box. So
we'll see soon how that works. What we're going to first concentrate on here is how to correctly hook up the RGB light emitting diode in order to separately control the three color emission channels.
Exciting.
If you look carefully at the LED that I have here on display at the bottom of the breadboard, you'll notice something about the leads. One of them, in this case the second one from the top, is just a little bit longer than the others. That's a special lead because that's the lead that will be the ground in our circuit. So we will connect that long lead to ground, and each of the three shorter leads will be supplied by our 5-volt supply that will need to be on in order to turn that color of light on. So you'll see up above on the breadboard how we've wired this up in order to achieve that result. You'll notice that the second lead from the top, which should be the ground, is connected in our breadboard to row number 4 on the breadboard. And row number 4 is connected by this white wire to the ground terminal on the Hero. Now, each of the other three leads is connected by a color-coded wire to a pin on the Hero. So you'll notice that the uppermost lead here is the red LED, and that's connected to a pin on the Hero. This green wire corresponds to the green LED, and it's connected to a pin, and the blue wire is connected to yet
Get in there.
Pin. Now, we're going to use those pins to turn those LEDs on and off in just a little while. But before we do that, I should just illustrate really quickly how this LED will look when it's functioning. You'll notice that, as we need to always do, we've connected
So
three
this one is
current limiting
ground.
resistors, 220 ohm resistors in series, one resistor each for each color channel, in series with each lead of the LED. So if we follow this through, for example, with the red channel, we would have current flowing from the supply into, in this case, row number 3 of the breadboard, through the current limiting resistor, into the LED, and then out through the ground on row number 4, and back to ground to complete the circuit. So we can manually check this to see what happens. If I temporarily unplug the red lead here, leading into the red channel of the LED, and plug it into a steady 5-volt source, which I have provided right here on the red column on the breadboard, just so it would be handy to have. If I plug that in, like so, you can see that we get a nice red glow from our LED. On the other hand, if I wanted, I could plug the blue channel in to 5 volts. And now I get a blue channel. And I'm not restricted to just one channel at a time. So for example, if I wanted, I could plug in green and blue at the same time and get a blend of those two colors.
Neat.
Or I could say disconnect the blue. Oops. And
Oh, I'm not
red
powering
and green
the.
at the same time and get sort of a greenish yellow.
That would help.
color. So we'll be making use of that capability as we figure out how to make the Hero turn these channels on and off for us at will. So I'm just going to return
So
these pins to their original position
hold
on the
on.
Hero board, because those will be important for us to discuss soon. You'll
Wait, so
notice
just plugging in
that I
the
have the
thing
3
doesn't work
channels
for
of the
me. Hold
LED.
on. I was too busy putting in my resistors. I wasn't paying enough attention. I have to back up.
Quickly how this LED will look when it's functioning. You'll notice that, as we need to always do, we've connected 3 current limiting resistors, 220 ohm resistors, in series, one resistor each for each color channel, in series with each lead of the LED. So if we follow this through, for example, with the red channel, we would have current flowing from the supply into, in this case, row number 3 of the breadboard, through the current limiting resistor, into the LED, and then out through the ground on
Okay. Where are my little extenders? Oh, here's one actually. All right, so that's ground. That's 5 volts. Okay. I think I got
row
it set
number
up.
4 and back to ground to complete the circuit. So we can manually check this to see what happens. If I temporarily unplug the red lead here, leading into the red channel of the LED, and plug it into a steady 5-volt source, which I have provided right here on the red column on the breadboard, just so it would be handy to have. If I plug that in,
I was wondering why it
you
connected
can see
there.
that we get a nice red glow from our LED. On the other hand,
except
if
for
I wanted,
I am not getting a red
could
glow.
plug the blue channel
I've
in
got 5
to
volts.
5 volts. And now I get a blue channel. And I'm not restricted
It's
to
connected
just
there.
one channel at a time. So for example, if I wanted, I could plug in green and blue at the same time.
Well,
blend of
that
those
kind of sucks. I
Or
don't know.
could say disconnect the blue.
Hey, Hubek, how's it going?
Oops.
Why isn't mine working? I've got... That is solidly plugged in there. This one is the ground. That is plugged into ground. And yeah, I've got I genuinely do not know what I've done wrong here. That's understandable, Hubek. Yeah, I kind of had to make a deal with myself where, like, once Blizzard fucked up Overwatch and I was trying to find a new game to play on stream, I was like, you know what? Actually, perhaps I should make my life better. So I've decided to build a new skill set instead of wasting my time on more games. I do still play way too many video games. But at least now this hour of my day is spent learning something new. Wait. We haven't even gone over the code yet. Is it possible that the old code is screwing me up? Did he even mention that I should update the code? Oh, I have an update for my board, actually. Yeah, so why is mine not working? I don't understand. I've updated it anyway, just to see, but no, I don't think that's the issue. I do not know what the issue is. I've got 5 volts going from here to here. Yeah, I had the right ground wire. I just want to see what happens if I do this. Oops. All right, so that works. Let me try this again. Maybe the LED just wasn't plugged in the right way. Or my LED might be broken, I guess. Cause yeah, the other LED works, but this one does not. That is a potential issue. Unless we can think of some other reason why the regular LED would work and the RGB is not working. 5 volts in, ground. Like that looks right? I think maybe my LED doesn't work. That would really suck. 'Cause I can't really continue with the lesson if my LED is not working.
And connect the red and the green at the same time and get sort of a greenish yellow color. So we'll be making use of that capability.
How do I test the LED without the breadboard? Maybe not all of my resistors are right. Hold on, now it's... Oh wait, I had the wrong one plugged in. Hold on. Why do I keep doing the wrong thing? My God. Hold on, now it's not working. Oh, So it works if I plug it in here. Oh, I had it reversed. Sorry, not the most exciting lesson today. All right, no, it actually does work on all three. So yeah, I think it must be the LED exploded. Connect ground to the long lead and 5 volt to one of the other leads. Oh. So I would just be trying it without the resistor. All right. So let's see. So it didn't like it. Something happened. I exploded something. I won't do that again. Yeah. Well, let's see. Ground. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I can try ordering some more, because the kit only came with one, so I can't swap one in. I guess I'll just keep
As we
watching.
figure out how to make the hero turn these channels.
Yeah, I mean, those are
That deal.
220s.
I'm
Yeah.
going to return these pins to their original position on the hero board because those will be important for us to discuss soon. You'll notice
I don't
that
know.
I have the 3 channels of the LED plugged into what turn out to be the output pins on the hero 11, 10, and 9. Now, there's something a little bit special that's going on here. What we want to be able to do is to turn on the LED color channels with differing intensities. And that would seem to be a difficult thing to do given the fact that this is a
I guess there's
digital
no
output.
there's no
Digital
point in me
meaning
continuing
that
to
you're
watch
right or
because like
not.
everything is going to involve this LED. I guess I'm gonna have to go to the Evil Empire. Although I guess I could get it from Ada Fruit. Well, we've only, hi Jim, hi Empty. We've only been using the 220 resistors, and so yeah, like, in fact, oh no, I do have others. I mean, unless he, did he say anything about the resistors that I might have missed?
RGB light emitting diode in order to separately control the 3 color emission channels. If you look carefully at the LED that I have here on display at the bottom of the breadboard, you'll notice something about the leads. One of them, in this case the second one from the top, is just a little bit longer than the others. That's a special
then
lead.
Yeah,
that's the lead.
they're the right resistors.
Ground in our circuit. So we will connect that long lead to ground, and each of the 3 shorter leads
Just
will
see if
be
there's anything I
supplied
missed
by
here.
our 5-volt supply that will need to be on in order to turn that color of light on. So you'll see up above on the breadboard how we've wired this up in order to achieve that result. You'll notice that the
I'm
second
not signed into my Amazon
lead from
account.
the top, which
Just do
should
it
be
on
the
my
ground,
phone.
is connected in our breadboard to row number 4 on the breadboard. And row number 4 is connected by this white wire to the ground terminal on the hero. Now, each of the other 3 leads is connected by a color-coded wire to a pin on the hero. So you'll notice that the uppermost lead here is the red LED, and that's connected to a pin on the hero. This green wire corresponds to the green LED, and it's connected to a pin.
Wait,
the
there's
blue
a.
wire is
What do you mean?
connected-
There's a day 8B. There's another. Oh, you're right. What the heck?
This is a special supplementary transmission from Rescue Shuttle Control. As you're working on your 3-color LED project, it's come to our attention
Oh my
that
God.
a small number of our rescue shuttles may actually be equipped with a non-standard version of the 3-color LED. If that's the case, your circuit may not function as intended.
Because
We
it
have
needs
some
different resist.
additional discussion and
What the fuck is
instructions for
this?
you in the event that you're one of the small number of affected shuttles. So in order to discuss this problem, if it applies to you, let's review
Thank you,
what
Empty.
the intended
Oh my
setup of our
God.
circuit is. As we look at
I'm
the
so
circuit we have
fucking
illustrated
annoyed.
here, this is equipped with one of the standard LEDs. As you'll recall, the long lead of the LED, that's the one that's indicated right here, connected to the ground connection.
Uh-huh.
This long one is the negative lead of the LED.
Yeah.
This would be connected to 0 volts or to ground, and then each of the three other leads of the LED, the red, the green, and the blue channels, would each be connected to positive 5 volts, of course through a current limiting resistor in each case. Now, this is the expected configuration, and if your LED is of this standard type, this should work for you. For example, when the red channel attached to pin 11 here is at high volts, then current flows through the resistor into the positive lead corresponding to red, and then returns back to ground through the common lead of the LED. The non-standard LEDs, which a few shuttles have been equipped with, are reversed. That is, the common lead is actually the positive lead of those LEDs. And so no light will be produced unless current flows in positive through that common lead and out through each of the now negative leads of the LED. In order to make your circuit function, if you have one of these types of LEDs, it will be necessary to modify both your circuit and corresponding software in your code. So we're now going to discuss the modifications that are necessary in order to get your circuit to function, assuming that you're one of the affected.
I mean, who knows?
What we need to do is we need to reverse the direction of current flowing so that it's flowing in through the common lead and out through each of the red, green, and blue secondary leads. In order to do that, we're going to modify the circuit as shown here. What you can see now is that
look at this
the
mess.
common lead, the long lead of the LED, is now no longer connected to ground. You'll see that it's connected to this bus right here, which in turn is connected to a steady plus 5 volts on the hero.
Right.
So what that means now is that a current will flow from this plus 5 volts into the common lead of the LED, and then hopefully out to 0 volts or back to ground.
Fucking asshole.
Now, we have a problem in that regard, and that is that these pulse width modulated outputs, in our case we're using pins 9, 10, and 11, do not produce a ground unless they're off. And normally they would produce a plus 5 volts when they're on. So we're going to need to change the function a little bit. We will indeed have current flow in through the common and out through, say, the red when the voltage at this is 0, when it's low. And the same would be true for 10 and 9 here for the green and the blue channels. But we can see now that this is just the opposite of the function that we would normally expect. Normally we would expect that when one of these pins is on or high, we would get light. But it's just the opposite. When these are high, this will be at 5 volts, the same as the 5 volts that's being supplied to the common pin, and so there'll be no net voltage difference and no current flowing. So when these are on, the light will be off, and when these are off, then current will flow in the now opposite direction and the lights will be on. So this modification will allow the lights to be turned on and off with the desired color But now we need to realize that there's a change necessary in the code. Normally, when the pulse width modulation causes this red channel, in this case pin 11, to be on, we would have current flowing through the red channel. But now, when this is on, that will be actually turned off. So if we want red light on, we need to turn this off. The effect is that we need to reverse the amount of time that we spend with each one of these channels being on or off in the pulse width modulation. So, as an example, let's suppose
I'm so fucking
that
lost.
we would like to turn this LED on with a pure red color. That means that we should set the red channel to 0, and we should set the green and blue channels to the
Wait, like, can I
maximum
test this
through
without
the
blowing it
cycle
up right now?
which would be 255. So setting red and green to 255 and red to 0 would give us full
Like, he's
intensity
talking about the
red.
code now,
Or,
but
if we wanted, say, a half intensity, we could set the green and blue channels to 255 and red to half
like-
on, half off. Which
and
would
these are
be
different-
128.
these are
In
different
fact, we could
resistors,
change the
right?
code in order to function as we want it to by taking all of the pulse width modulation codes that we formerly used in the other circuit and replacing them with 255 minus.
No,
the
these are
original
completely
value.
different. Red, red,
So
brown.
we can see what happens here.
Red,
When
red,
we
black,
wanted,
black.
Say a pure
They're completely
green
different.
light on. Originally, we would have had 0, 128, and 0, and that would give us green on at half intensity. But if we now want to do it in this new positive common circuit, what we would need to do is keep the green on at 128, but replace the red and the blue. Instead of being 0, now they would be at 255 each. So that's a simple change to the code that will be necessary in order to use this type of LED. Hopefully, if your LED is one of this type and you weren't having a successful circuit function before, this will fix it. So
I
with
still
that,
don't understand if
we'll
I
sign
can.
off for the time being.
This is, whoops, this is completely baffling to me. I'm totally lost, and I don't understand. Like, what even is this? Is this the photo resistor? Why is the photo resistor there? Like, like this was the initial diagram. Why is this one? What's going to AO? Why are there two 5-volt things? Is that what that is? Is that another 5-volt? No. What even is that? I only have one 5-volt. This looks like there's two. I'm just so confused. And like red, red, black, black. Yeah, but like this is so bad. I'm like, it's been kind of like funny up until now. Now I'm actually furious. This is
The LED
shit.
is on at 125. Upload the code to the hero and see the
Not great, 80. Not great. So all right. Well, I guess so. I should figure out. So what's red, red, brown? I guess I should use those instead. I don't. He didn't mention that, but it's like, it's a different thing, right? Do I even have whatever that is? No. None of these are that. None, I do not have that resistor. I don't understand. All right, well, so I guess, let me just try. Hold on. All right. So I plug in ground. And then let's see what happens. All right, so no, like just as is, this doesn't work either. So, all right, what am I missing? So there's this going to ground. Like his correction video doesn't like back up and show you what to do without this other stuff. Like, how do I test that this is working? Instead of basic principles, I don't know what you're saying, Eddie. I'm playing a game where the intention is to learn, but it fucking sucks. Well, that's what I'm trying now, but it's not working. Oh, probe. I don't know if you can see on the camera, but yeah, I've got the quote unquote formerly known as the ground is now. Wait, no. Oh, I don't. No, I fucked that up, actually. You're right. I was plugging that into ground. That should actually be 5 volts. Oh, so like does that mean that all of these need to be ground? Hold on. So if I make this ground and then I plug all of these guys into it. All right, so that's grounded. I've got the former ground now. Oh, there we go. Yeah, you're right. I was still connecting ground to ground. So, okay. Great. Great. Okay, so I guess this is now the correct code. Oh, well, I think this is the corrected code for, right? Yeah, because this is the old code. This is the new code. But you think that's still wrong? Okay. Back to the video.
With differing intensities.
I hate this
would be
man.
a difficult thing to do, given the fact that this is
Oh,
a
okay.
digital output. Digital meaning that it's either on or it's off. So it's either 0 volts or 5 volts. So what we're going to do here, in a new concept,
I hate this man so much.
is the idea of commanding a digital output, a digital pin here on the Hero, with an analog input, an analog command. What would that mean? Well, it turns out that although we can't change the level of the voltage on a digital output, we can change.
And you said that mine is so mine is cathode. Is that what you said? And anode is the one that it was supposed to be. Common anode and common cathode. Yeah, you got a common cathode one. Okay. Ah, okay.
When we start looking at the code for this function,
Thank you.
is that we can call analog write
Oh,
on a
probe.
digital output, and that will come along with a number that will be between 0 and 255.
I will
If the
read
number is
this
255,
later.
it means keep this on all the time. If the number is 0, it means it's not on at all. And if it's at a number in
Whoops.
between, say 128, which would be right in the middle, that would mean have the voltage on for half of the time and off for part of the time. And so the duration that the voltage will be on its high value will be proportional to the value of that number. Now, you won't actually be able to see the light flashing on and off because it will be flashing on and off much too rapidly for your eye to see. But if, for example, we turn it on and half off, the net effect that you will perceive is a light that's half as bright as normal. So that's the way that we will go about providing an analog input to what would seem to be a digital output. Now,
I am very lucky to
you
have
need
such
be able
smart
to
people in
command
chat
the Hero
helping me
to do
out.
these things that I've just described. And so for that reason, the next thing that we really ought to do.
But like, how many fucking times have I gotten frustrated by something that I assume that it's my fault and that I'm not understanding, so I pause and I try to figure, like, how many times is this going to happen? And then it turns out, no, it's his fault.
Is move over to the code window and see what kinds of
Like,
new.
I'm sorry, go back and edit this goddamn video. And at the very beginning, say, like, hey, if your LED doesn't work, go watch this video. Remake the whole thing.
Or different constructions will be necessary in our code. So here we have what should right now look like a relatively familiar set of lines. We've introduced at the top of our code here the declaration of 3 integer variables, red, green, and blue. And I think you'll recall that those
am I in the
numbers
right?
that we connected red, green, and blue to on the Hero were pins 11, 10, and 9. So these will in fact be the identifications of the pin numbers.
Oh, hold on. So, so I currently have all of these set to ground. Oh, I see. So in order to oh. So they go from sorry. I'm puzzling this one through. So I don't actually have to plug them into the ground there. I can plug this and just make this whole thing ground. I see. I was doing things a little differently, but now I see that it is better for me to do it this other way. So I'm going to make that the power. And then now I'm free to put these guys in 10. What is it? 10, 11, and 12? Or 9, 10, 11. I like how I managed to find a game to play that is just as, if not more frustrating than Overwatch. Alright, so that's ground. And then I've got that plugged into 5 volts, so when I do this, boop, okay. Oh, my hand was probably in the way, but just as a heads up, it works. Okay. Hey, Hrothgar. I'm repairing my spaceship. I'm lost in space, and I need to repair my spaceship. And my spaceship requires an RGB LED. We're not sure why yet.
3 color channels. So we can now just forget about those pin numbers. And red is a synonym for pin 11, green for pin 10, blue for pin 9. We'll now be using those immediately in the setup routine. Remember, setup gets run once at the beginning of our execution, and we need to call pin mode in order to make each of those 3 pins an output function. So far, there's nothing too new here. This is pretty much just the same sort of thing that we've done before. But now will come the difference, because now we're going to command these digital outputs with an analog value.
Hrothgar, you have no idea.
Because this is something that we're going to actually want to do repeatedly. We're going to write a custom function. And this will be a custom function that will perform that pin assignment for us whenever we need it to. And we'll be able to customize the amount of on or the
I'm a programmer.
Colored channel needs.
Programmer.
So let's go ahead and right after our setup routine here, let's introduce a new custom function of our own devising. And I'll put it in right here. Let's look at it. We've decided to name this function RGB color. And the name pretty much tells what it does. It is going to basically take 3 input values, red value, green value, and blue value, and use those to activate the pins with the appropriate duration. By the way, I'll just mention something that I should have mentioned a little bit earlier. And that is that this technique of taking a digital output and turning it on and off for a specified period of time has a name, and it's called pulse width modulation, or for short, PWM. So that's what we're referring to here in our comment when we say that this is a custom function to set the 3 pulse width modulated color channels to any given mixture. You may also notice that
new vocabulary
on our hero board,
alert.
Right underneath the row of digital outputs, it says digital PWM. Again, PWM is pulse width modulation. And so that is a little reminder to us that we can modulate the length of time that these digital outputs are on. So, what does our RGB color function actually do? It does a very simple thing. It calls analog write 3 times. Once for each of the 3 pins, red, green, and blue. Remember, those are just synonyms for 11, 10, and 9. And the second argument of each of these calls of analog write is just the desired number between 0 and 255 that we would like to have that channel be on. So, very simple function. It just calls analog write and turns those pulse width modulated pins on for the specified time. And we can change on the fly what those times are every time we call RGB color. All right, so that new function is now ready and waiting for us to use. It's in our toolbox. And so now we can go ahead and get to the main event. That is, we can put code into our loop function and see what code will be executed over and over again using this function that we've just defined. All right, so let's go ahead and insert some code in, some very simple code, but it will be a useful illustration that will show us how this will work. So now, what we have in our loop function is a cycling set of our custom function.
The numbers are reversed.
And they're interspersed with delays so that we can sort of see the light on.
I've got red as 125, 255, 255.
So if we read through this code, we can see that what we're doing is, first of all,
so at least he did that correctly.
To what will essentially be a pure red, because it's going to have red on for 125.
I guess I can
and
turn
blue
this
and green
off.
At 0. Then we'll wait with that turned on for 800 milliseconds, and then we'll switch to a pure green, 0, 125, 0. So that should just turn on the green LED. Next, we'll do the same thing. We'll switch over to blue, 0, 0, 125. Again, after an 800 millisecond delay, we'll try a mixture. So the next one will be RGB color with red as 64.
All right, I get it.
Green as 32. and blue is 0.
It's working.
This was my attempt to try and come up with a color that
Yay.
would approximate yellow. You may want to play around with these numbers yourself a little bit to get a color that you're happy with. But this is
It's not
just an example.
quite focusing
We
very
follow
well.
that with another call that is a mixture of
But you
red
can see
and
that
blue,
it's working.
that with a sort of a purple kind of color. And finally, we're going to turn all 3 of the LEDs on at 125.
Oh, well, you can
to get
see,
something that's
I've added a window showing my, so like over here, I've added a window showing right there. Nope. Right there. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's pretty small. I gotta figure out a better layout. But yeah, it looks like he just changed the numerical values.
more or less white color because it's an equal mixture of those 3 primary colors. Red,
I also
green,
meant to
blue.
make a note
Again,
of
you can
cathode
change
versus
the difference into
anode.
which. The last thing we do here is delay for 2 seconds, so it'll dwell on the white light for 2 seconds before then repeating and going through the cycle again. So, if that code is correct and we haven't dropped any semicolons or made any syntax errors, we should be able to compile it and run it and see if it does what we want it to to do. So let's go ahead and
Thank you,
compile,
AD.
see if that works.
I'm confident that now
Done,
that I
no
have a
errors.
color
So we should
changing
be, able to go
LED,
ahead, upload the code to the hero and see
I'll be on my way
sequence of
home
flashes
soon.
that we designed in our code. Uploading.
it's very bright.
Loading is done, and we now have a sequence of flashes. Let's wait for it to get here. We're in the white phase. Red, green, blue, yellow, purple, white. And back again. Yellow, purple, white. Red, green, blue, yellow, purple, white. So that seems to have worked pretty well.
Yay.
It's a simple demonstration, but it gives us some ideas about some of the things that we can possibly accomplish using these methods. Now that we've understood this very interesting and potentially useful technique of pulse width modulation on our digital outputs. I would invite you to go ahead and experiment with your own combinations, your own logic, your own color combinations, until you feel comfortable and happy about your ability to manipulate these. The next time, in our next session, we'll be thinking about how these techniques might be used to give us color-coded information on our main concern right now, which is battery charging. You'll recall that last time we were getting battery charge level information through the serial monitor.
Yeah,
so we had that information
I
in
do
text
remember.
form.
So
we might now be able to create.
Shut up. So yeah, the photo resistor is for tomorrow, but the so this is how lazy this is. Not only did they not update that video, but there's another video that all of this is reliant upon. And instead of updating both videos, they've just given this one diagram. Hey, how's it going, Aldo? They've given this one diagram for both of them. But that means that when I'm trying to figure out what the difference is, first of all, he doesn't explain how to test the LED without doing all of the code and stuff first. And 2, the diagram has extraneous stuff on it. So it's on me to figure out like what is actually part of fixing the LED and what isn't. Like, did they not run this past anyone? Like a potential, like a potential customer, like your target audience, like somebody who doesn't know wiring, to see if maybe this is a little confusing. It's more than like it's at least 2 guys, I think. But it's frustrating because it's like, this is a product I purchased. Well, that my husband purchased for me. Like, what the frig? Like, I get that you didn't have it in your budget to hire an actor, a performer, to do this part. But, like, come on. And And even if it is just the one guy, like, again, this is a product that people are spending money on. Run it past someone. Like, if you are to, if you lack the awareness to figure out what people are going to need explained to them, and your whole product is explaining things to people, run it past your target audience. Surely there's someone in your life that you could be like, hey, can you take a look at this and see if it's confusing? I'm a little angry about this now. I'm really glad, actually. So, Thursday I had to skip the live stream because something went wrong with my video recording. I recorded 2 videos, and it was about 45 minutes of recording. And when I finished, so what happens is these days I now film myself with my iPhone. And in order to make sure that I'm in frame, I screen share my iPhone to my MacBook. So what I do on my MacBook, I start up GarageBand, test the microphone, make sure the microphone is working and the recording is running. And then I set up my camera and screen share to the MacBook so that when I sit down at my desk, I can look and be like, okay, I'm in frame, in focus. But that means that the screen share is taking up all of the space. Like, Apple currently does not have an easy way to use your laptop as a monitor for your camera, as far as I know. So I also have Bluetooth headphones that I use when I'm working, when I'm editing. They're nicer than these. And so I usually have them on like prior to recording, but then I take them off. And GarageBand has decided that if those headphones are connected when I start recording and then they power off, that they've decided, obviously, I must want GarageBand to stop recording entirely. Not the microphone, not the important part. Like, I understand, like, if the microphone I'm using stops working, yeah, like, maybe a good idea to stop recording. No, the headphones. And they've decided that instead of, like, an emergency alert, it should just stay in the background. Continue the screen share. So I recorded 40 minutes with no audio. I was furious. I was so angry at this stupid series of things that occurred. If I had, instead of doing that second recording, which is what I did, I set everything up again, sat down, after a brief break, sat down, recorded the videos again. Can you imagine if instead of doing that, I had done this live stream in order to, like, relax and get my mind off of that problem that I just had? And it was this lesson. This is the lesson I would have had. I would have pitched my PC out the window. I would have just lost my mind. I would have gone full Joker. So, yeah, I think we can all be grateful that I did this lesson on a day when I was otherwise comparatively pretty relaxed. I imagine I'm going to be infuriated tomorrow because, clearly we're doing the same thing, but we're adding the photoresistor. And who knows how that's gonna screw things up. So I did fix it with your help. So thank you, Opope and Empty and everyone in chat who helped out. Not you, 80. You didn't help. Just kidding. The moral support was nice as well. So thank you for joining me. I should be back tomorrow, 2 p.m. Pacific time. And I learned some stuff that I otherwise wouldn't have learned, and I think I can be grateful for that. So look at me, look at what a good person I am. All right, guys, thanks for joining me. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.